Hello, hi guys, welcome back. So we have done with our previous video. There is actually a installation on flight gear setups. We have done. We have did a little bit of modifications for better user experience. We have downloaded the aircraft. We have downloaded the airports, which we actually we took for this project as a center point, which is Singapore Changi Airport International. And okay, so from for now, we're going to go for a full flight demonstration. So the flight actually planned from Singapore Airport all the way to Kuala Lumpur International Airport. So let's move. All right, so let me just open it up. So once you have download this, so the location I have put it in a parking space spot. So for the parking space, you just have to make it into one, and the runway doesn't matter. And you have to once you have installed the aircraft in the folder which I have told you guys earlier, it's gonna be appear here. All right, so you just have to press the model. You can able to choose from. For now, this project I'm choosing 200. So the add-on, make sure that you have this so that the scenario will be better as well. So without further ado, I'm just gonna move. So just have to fly. So just a couple of things before I move on. For this whole flight, it actually will take more than 2 hours for me to do every single thing. If I just have to do in the instructions like real pilot actually has been doing as such. So I'm going to cut short a little bit more uh, to just make it faster, but I'll be definitely going through all the important procedures which we need to go through, or those which I'm unable to go through. I'm just going to highlight to you guys what you're supposed to follow, right? So as you can see that this is our so the buildings haven't come out yet. Sorry, my computer was a bit slow. All right. So as you can see from here, so this is the aircraft. This aircraft which will be using the 777-300, and this Singapore Changi International Airport. And so I have chosen a parking slot. All right. So from here, for this project, we actually have uh, done a livery as well. Livery is just basically the the aircraft appearance which I have done. There's actually two models which I've done. What you have to do is if you are using my files, you can able to see inside. So what I have to do is you just have to go to select livery. All the way. I have did it too. So this one is black. Okay, so this is another one which I've done. All right. The image was quite good actually. I like this the color. But for this demonstration, we're just gonna go with white. All right. So without further ado, we need to do a set of procedures we need to follow, right? So for now, just go inside. So if you're too new to this aircraft, or rather the model, whichever the new model you're downloading, right? So what you have to do is normally they will provide with tutorials or help. If not, you can go online and find. For this, we have already have craft checklist. So that's the basic one if you want to know. If you're already too new to this flight gear, you can open up the aircraft keys, basic simulator keys, and aircraft checklist is what we have to go through. If you want to go through from start one by one, or so this is basically the aircraft checklist. You can go through the whole things that such as before start engine, pushback, startup, after startup. I will not be going through the whole thing. There's actually another start shortcut in your keyboard. If you just press key yes, it will just auto start for you. You can just make a quick flight if you want to leave, but we're not going to do that. So I'm just going to off the yes, and I'm just going to go through a proper one. Right. So and it told us. So if you are too new to this aircraft, normally they would it already been embedded the tutorials which they will teach you what and when which and what. So parking brake, if you're not familiar with this, you can just press the question here. They will show you this is the parking brake, which is actually control shift. You can just on it off, engage or disengage. Such things. Then this is throttle, fuel, flow, all these things. But if you want to make it into fast, like if you are just the first one, so the important things you need to know is that the setup procedures which actually flow through. So at first you need to on the battery. So this is the main one. So as you can see, you can go through and this is really go through a fast one. So APU has to be on. If you just press here, there will be APU on top. So you're on the APU to the slide. So for on and off, you just have to put the mouse scroller on top of the button. Then you can use the scroller on the mouse to rotate left or right. Right. So you just on that. So if you want to confirm, there's the MFD will actually show the CPU is actually running. All right. And the master switch is on. The left button is checked. It's already down. Flaps, we need to make sure it's up. So for flaps, we can actually use this keyboard short key to get it up or down. So as you can see, there's actually will be indication as well here. So I'm just gonna put it up first. So fuel quantity. So in my report, actually, I have even suggested one website to go to. So basically, let me just put it up. So you can go to fuel planner. That's where you need to get in here. So you can choose the aircraft what we are using, which is Boeing 777-300, original WSS, and we are going to WNKK. So load sheet will tell you basically the details of the aircraft, which is the weight and what are the things you need to take note of. Yeah, just giving details, but if you're we don't really need to know about that. The basic thing we need to know, we are here to find out, is how much fuel you actually need to flew to KL. Alright, so as you can see, Singapore to KL, which is actually going to take 161 nautical miles. The fuel usage will be 13,519, and reserve we need to have at least 21,895. So fuel on board, you need to have at least minimum 35,414. So there's a different type set of reserve fuels will be added to every aircraft, because in case just an if they have to go one more fly around or deviate from elsewhere, they need to carry a reserve fuel. So we're just going to type this into, so 35,414 is what we're going to put it in. So if I have to pull the fuel truck controls, as of now we have like 31,000, but we need to have 35,000, right? So you just have to go outside. I'm just going to enable the fuel truck, which as you can actually see, and you need to connect the pipe as well. So 35,410, 35,414 is what we're going to do, and we're going to request for refuel. So if you don't want to wait, you can just press fast button. That will be fuel will be done. Right. So once you have done, you can pick out this services. Alright, so that's it for now. Get back in. Right, so ADIR switch has to be on. Fasten seat belt switch should be here, it should be on. No smoking sign should be on. Altimeter must be set, which is actually from here. which actually you can set it here. You can set it from here, but normally I'll just put it there so that it will automatically do. As you can see, it's maybe come back to the reference point. Okay, so now it's going to have to be made. That's one word first. As you can see, this level command board is actually going on. The radio set has to be, as for now, it's not really important. You can connect to it later. So all briefing has to be done. So safety briefing has to be done. So for this, we need to just press on here. It's already been done. Anti-ice test and check done. Anti-ice test. Here, it's already in standby mode. You don't have to check right now. Right, so yeah, it's actually one by one. You have to, if you're not familiar, you can go through with it. But I'm actually good, so I'm just gonna push it a little bit more because it's gonna take a lot more time. Okay, so okay, so I'm just gonna do this. So basically, for us to fly back, I need to take it off first. So there is a few experience things we actually added on, which you can see a ground service which I have to get out of the aircraft right now. So ground services, which actually will be the external power, we can actually able to connect this and use this button right here, the backup gen, without using I'm sorry, using the secondary, without using the APU, right? Do that. We already have run done. So this left here. This is basically is just a choke, so will be indicated. So I'm not sure whether you guys can able to see, but let me just zoom in for you. Right, so if you look at this, if I take out the nose here, the choke will be missing, and this will be in. The safety points, as you can see, the left and right will be up here. It's just a bit on look a little bit more on the real scenario. Like if you actually turning around the flight, you can able to do this. And right, and if your buses, you passenger need to board, so there's actually a doorways. Check this actually not available. Just put, yeah, put doorways. So just put a few down the road. You can connect the catering. So catering is actually will go up and down. I can just create it's not this. Let's just put it here. It will just go up and down. Front baggage, which is crucial aircraft is actually doing. So it depends on what's my catering volume. I can choose my crew, how many economic passenger, business passenger, the first class passenger. I can choose that. And as you can see, the weight is actually increased as well. Alright, so yeah, if I just put start boarding, so it says that for number of crews I actually selected, you're going to take 6 minutes. Start loading. Please enable package truck first. Which I have to do is this. Alright, I think this has been done. Okay, it's okay. So this things actually we have added on so that they can take a look. You can take a look and as uh, just to give the students or rather the aviation passionates to look at realistic compared to it's not just a game, right? So this can be a real time thing, so you can able to adjust, and this is for educational purpose as well. All right, so I'm just gonna check it out everything. All right, can just click instant. Click on the browsers. So this has been done. So this is going to just run everything. This is all just not much things can do. But, yeah. So we can just move on to the real flight. So the important thing is we need to connect to pushback. Alright, so that's important. So just connect to pushback. Once you connect to pushback, normally they will ask you to display the brake, aircraft brake, because without that you can't able to move. So I'll come back to this later. Let me just go and do other things first. So first we need to do a startup. So for that we need to get our hydraulics up. Uh, this the anti-ice heating. So it comes. Alright, so I'm just gonna on the first engine. So after you have on that, you need to provide fuel. So this is the fuel switch. As you can see, you can able to increase the engine and NR actually will start to increase. And as you can notice that the right hand side is not done yet. So if you go outside and you can visually experience this as well, you see on the left side you actually started, right side not yet. So I'm just gonna push it second one as well. Just have to press the second one. The fuel. Remember I was telling you to look at this. Okay, let me just explain this. For this flight, I'll be using autopilot to uh, to control the aircraft. So this is the autopilot panel actually. So this is the main autopilot button which we can on or off basically to engage or disengage. So we need to flip up this before we fill off so that the auto thrust panel is basically what this button does is that it will control left and right engine power automatically, and this indicator airspeed is what we can able to uh, set on the desired one so that you can dictate how fast you want to fly or how slow you want to fly. Alright, this is the speed. So basically, how you can adjust it is you just have to put the mouse cursor on top of it, and you can use the scroll button to increase or decrease. Right. So for us, we need to rotate about 220 if I'm not wrong. Yeah, it's correct. It's 220. We need to roll. We can roll it out. So I just put it at 220 for now. So this is this LNAV and VNAV is what you it will be controlled by aircraft once we have put in our if we have entered our directions uh, directions on navigation correctly. All right. So NF is normally it's kind of will fly the aircraft in correct direction. VNAV will actually will hold the altitude you have entered, and FLCA is actually a flight change button. What is it? Does it actually meant for climb and descent until we have set our altitude on the whole is right here, right? So this is a heading which you don't have to manually use your flight controller. You can just use this. As you can see that when I change this, the heading actually will change. You can able to change, and you just have to press the whole button. The aircraft will go along with it. So this is vertical FD. So if you press on top, it's actually the aircraft will descend, and when you go on positive mode, which is below, the aircraft is actually will go up to the desired level we actually set here, right? So this is altitude. There's actually two mode. This auto or in thousands. We just have to set. So for now, normally I will just put it at 100,000 feet. All right. Uh, that's about it. So this tool is localizer and approach. So localizer will actually align you when we before our uh, before our approaching runway. So this will align into the uh, center line and localizer. And approach will be uh, the aircraft will guide to auto land, right? So that's about it for this. So as you can see that both is actually stabilized. Our aircraft is actually stabilized. We have our fuel enough to fly over. So without further ado, I think we are good to go from now. Right. So before one last thing, we need to do a flight manager. But before that, let me just pull our. If you press F12 in our keyboard, the radio stack will be coming up. Right. So if you want to know the range, which one you need to put it in, you have to actually look at. So this tool is actually meant for a ground radio, and these two channels actually will go for uh, tower if you want to communicate with them. And ADIS is just like a weather manual. It just give you a set of information basically on the aircraft itself. It's automated message, and this aircraft departure, arrival, and cancellation date. So what you have to do is if you want to make it into as now I'm in a pilot control. So whatever I press now, it is going to be go here, and I can just swap it out. So 121.775 as you can see here. And if I don't want, I can just swap it. And you can key manual as well. Right, so as first normally I will just put it into 1 to 1. Okay, that's fine. I'm going to ask for clearance. Alright, so let me just do this. Alright, so this is the ATC communication I'm going to do it with.
SQ Raj ready to start up.
So I have to done this before, which we have done.
Singapore Changi Intel Airport Ground. This is SQ Raj, position 1111, information Tango, IFR to Singapore Changi Intel Airport, request startup. SQ Raj, startup approved, Tango correct, runway
So
20.
now they're asking us to change to 124.30.
For taxi clearance, call 124.30, Singapore Changi Intel Airport Ground Control.
So basically we have
Singapore
changed
Changi
it.
Intel Airport Ground, startup approved, Tango correct, runway 20C, fly runway heading squawk 7557. For taxi
So at this
clearance,
point of
call
time, I can able to change it. I can switch it to.
Singapore 948.
I can switch it to
Singapore
tower.
Changi Intel Airport
So once I
Ground.
have done
Singapore Changi Intel Airport Ground.
that, I can able to communicate with ATC. So once you have done with ATC, you have to move on real quick because so that you don't hold other aircraft position. So now we're gonna request for taxi clearance. All right. Let's see. Right, so we have done everything. think we just have one last thing to do is we just
Call zero time
the
out.
flight the flight manager. So for that, we need to go to route manager. Just pull up right here. And I need to have both, but before that, I just want to get this done with. So, okay, so we just go here. If I do this, as we have cleared for our runway, we're gonna we can move. So basically, how I will do it is, so as you can see, it's not moving because I am not disengaged. I will just so I need to disengage so that we can able to start moving. So I'll be moving to the runway from here. So you can do it manual or you can do it manual or you can able to do it you can just use this to control as well. So there's both ways to have that. I like to use it this auto push so that you have enough time for I will have to use this time basically to do a route manager, right? So let me just stop this. I'll just go straight to runway before I do the so I'm just going to move all the way straight to here. And so sometimes it's will not go very straight according to what you want. So then you stick on that. Okay. So from this time, it's going to move us straight. So do this. So you need to open up the map as well as this. All right. So we're going to move to WMKK. It's going to be 32 far. If you look at it, it's 32 far straight. And I'm going to put on fixes and the ads so that I can able to see. So how you're going to enter is basically uh, basically you just have to put in the waypoint there, which is basically you have to oh sorry it's way 14 oh, no, way 64. just put it on 32L. Okay, I'm going to press this, which is commas. You just have to add it in. As you can see, it's been 1 year round, right? So you can just push it on top. As you can see, there it is. One more. R. Just going to put it here on top of it. And you can just do according to those often, and you can have many waypoints according to your street or your location is. All right. And the first waypoint I'm going to put it on it's going to go through this MAS MAS. Actually, if you want to have a better if you want to have a better so-called the altitude, you can just put it at, and if you know, let's say you want to find at 2000 right here, you can just put 2000. You can put it there, then you just have to add in, as you can see, right here. So I don't really have to add more waypoints, but from the airport I will just go straight here, and I'm going to fly all the way through, and
Approaching 02 center. Approaching 20 center.
so yeah, so our flight plan is set up here. So once you have done your flight plan, once you have done your this waypoint, you can just press active, right? So make sure that you have this. You just have to press active, and it will start having this, right? So I'll just we can come back to this later. I'll just put in transparent first, so that I don't know how we're going. So this will be all the way with us. So manager will be closed. As you can see, as you approach the runway, so as we approach our runway, the ADC actually will give us this nice instruction of short runway 20C, right? So I'm just going to press. Down here, so I'm just going to put a little bit more so that I can able to put the aircraft in the center because it doesn't look like the center now. It's okay if you want to put it. We had more than enough room for us to fly, alright? Okay, it's about to enter. I'll just stop right there. We are done. So I'm just gonna disconnect our webcam here. They are gonna go off. Thank you for us. Alright.